We are live on Facebook and YouTube.
Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube.
Hello.
Hello. Hello.
Happy Memorial Day week. I'll get back to...
This is so fascinating.
Oh, this is beyond... I never thought it would be in the rabbit hole that I went into until I looked at Johnny Depp's natal chart and his transits and what he's gone through and hers. I've never been in a rabbit hole like this. Ever.
2 minutes.
I mean, wait till you hear this stuff. It's beyond what... It's wild. And it's like, you tell me there's no such thing as karma and south nodes and north nodes and Saturn. I'll tell you what, look at what's happening to him at 60. And he's in what's called a Saturn return. And the universe says, by the time you're 60, if you don't get it together, I gave you a chance at 30 on your first Saturn return. Now I'm coming after you. And that's what's happened. He's in his second Saturn return. Poor thing, but he's busted through it. He's amazing. I'm proud of him. Proud of him. And then to have a trial in the middle of an eclipse and Mercury retrograde. Crazy. It's crazy. They apparently didn't have astrologers. They needed them.
Tag Johnny.
Do what?
Please.
Poor Johnny. Poor Johnny. Look. This was the New York Post. Johnny Depp, the Amber Heard. Birth charts reveal soulmates from hell. That's the New York Post. Boy, they weren't kidding.
Talk about complete opposites attract.
You know what it was is they both have Venus and Taurus. So, she's that alluring and absolutely beautiful. The beauty. It's her beauty.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Mystery Podcast with you on All 3. The show is 6 days a week. Saturdays at 5 for special events and breaking news. Join us as we produce the best on the net today. Be a part of the nation. And let's look at the intro for our launch. One more music today. Let's look at YouTube. And now the featured show.
Charming, grand, elegant, and memorable are words guests use to describe Belgrove Plantation bed and breakfast, located along the banks of the Rappahannock River in King George County, Virginia. Built in 1791, Belgrove Plantation was the birthplace of our fourth president and founding father, James Madison. This historic mansion features 4 luxurious master suites, with views overlooking the Rappahannock River and plantation. Spacious accommodations, Fresh air and breathtaking sunset views of the river and plantation await you. Whether you're looking for the perfect location for your wedding, anniversary, corporate retreat, seminar, or romantic getaway, Belle Grove Plantation provides a year-round destination with unique venues and events. For more information on reservations, date availability, events, and scheduled tours, visit our website at www.bellegroveplantation.com or call 540-621-7340. Again, that's 540-621-7340.
Sherry.
Welcome to True Crimes, Mysteries Behind the Veil. And now your host of the evening, Joey Templeton Skinner, Christy Goins, and co-hosting Sherry Lynn.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to True Crime Mysteries Beyond the Veil. We are streaming live on Blog Talk Radio and the Rift Radio Network. Our video streaming on YouTube, the Rift Radio Network. Please check out our YouTube channel and also on Facebook, hopefully without an echo. We're trying to still work on the Facebook echo. But tonight we are taking a little bit of a shift. For our listeners, we feature true crimes, actually missing persons cases that we are working on or homicides. But tonight, due to the Depp v. Heard trial, and everybody if you haven't heard of this trial, I don't know what rock you're under. If you haven't caught pieces of this trial, seen some of the TikToks, or know anything about this trial, we thought it would be fun to look at the astrology. And that means both Johnny Depp's natal chart, Amber Heard's natal chart, what is called a SYNASTRY chart. So if you're going to date somebody or even marry somebody, please DM me and let's do a SYNASTRY chart, because when you see, it puts the two charts together. And then you can look at it, and it's better than going to a therapist, because it's like, hey, this is what he does, this is what she does. And when you see their SYNASTRY, and had they gone to an astrologer, I don't think there's too many out there that would have told them, unless they knew what to work on, if this would work. Then we'll look at their transits and look at the tribe. So with that being said, I would like to introduce my hosts for this evening, Miss Christy Goins. How are you, Chris?
Hi, doing well. How about yourself?
And you have a huge weekend planned, right? So tell the listeners about the great weekend.
Yes, Sherry and I are going to be at Belle Grove Plantation in King George, Virginia for the Sage Paranormal that's being hosted by Sage Paranormal and MJ Dixon. And it's going to be incredible. They have lots of guests. There are going to be authors there signing books. They have vendors, paranormal vendors. It's going to be amazing. So much fun.
So if you're out there, stop by at the Rift Radio Network booth and say hi to Christy and Sherry Lynn and Howie, our director. So please stop by and say hi. And you guys will be doing live segments throughout the day, correct? On Facebook?
Yes, off and on.
Okay, so definitely get the notifications on your phone so that you can pop in and out during the day and check out what they're doing. And we know and love her as the host of Haunted Tales every Monday evening on the Rift Radio Network, our very own Miss Sherry Lynn. How are you, ma'am?
I am doing great.
Good,
Good.
good.
Good. Super. So please, girls, interject on this anytime, because I know we're all watching the trial. We're all listening to the trial and keeping up on it. So if I talk about something, please stop me and call in if y'all have any questions, or we are in the chat. And someone said, it so reminds me of the OJ trial in 1995, and Camille Vasquez, who is one of the Depp lawyers, is the new Johnny Cochran. And she is. She's phenomenal. And she's amazing. I love to watch it because by trade, I'm a paralegal. So I've been doing this work for 20 years. And I feel for the judge. She's a great judge in this case. She's fair. But just a little background story on Depp and Heard. And you guys can fill in the blanks as well. They were married for about 15 months. He is up almost 60-ish. She's what 35, 36-ish. And they were married, and things went south. Now, there was a trial in the UK where Miss Heard has accused Depp of abuse, domestic violence. And she won an award in the UK. However, he turned around and countersued her in the US, in Virginia, with you all. And so things have, it has been an explosive trial. And I mean, it has you hanging on your seat because you don't know what to expect in this trial. And, you know, he sued her for $50 million, stating that because she wrote an article that went in the Washington Post, he has lost movie roles and it has devastated his career. So he sued her for $50 million. She then countersued him for $100 million. So now it is coming out in court that he is claiming to be a victim of the Me Too movement and that he was the one that was abused by her. So that's interesting to look at in the charts too, because guess what? Guess what we would look for in a chart for that? It would be Mars, because Mars in our chart is what gives us the drive. It's the male energy. So you would look at the Mars in their charts. So do you guys have anything more you want to add about the trial?
My heart just breaks for him. Just having seen the interviews that leading up to all of this, when he was constantly saying, you know, approaching people being interviewed and him saying, I'm scared to death. I just want to go home. Please help me. I mean, it was just so sad.
Johnny Depp was saying that?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I
approached by interviews.
I didn't see that. Christy, do you have anything you want to add about him?
About Johnny? No, but I cannot stand to watch Amber on the stand anymore. I can't even go back and watch it. It aggravates me to no end because it's so obviously acting. I mean, you know this, Joni. How many victims sit in front of the jury, and every time a question is asked, looks over at the jury and makes faces? How many victims
I've
actually
never seen
do that?
I've
Yeah.
never seen that.
I mean, it's so.
I've never seen
bland.
somebody testify where they look directly at the jury throughout their whole testimony either.
Yeah, every question she looks over and gives them a sad face. It's ridiculous.
I did not realize how much until after I looked at her natal chart and her transits and that information, how really the issues that she really does have. So my sympathy, Libra sympathy level is starting to kind of wean a little bit, not to her because he was completely the victim. And I have to give him credit for standing up for men because I think men are abused and they are manipulated. And for him to stand up and fight, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's very unexpected.
And so
That's for sure.
it was for me. I didn't know. And one of our, in the chat room, Michelle says, not to mention his flinching on the red carpet when Amber raised her hand to put her hair back behind her ear. The second terror in his eyes of her hitting him. So sad. Whoops. I hit that. See, we're talking about Johnny Depp and I'm hitting all kinds of buttons. I think that's how every female now feels in the world is poor Johnny Depp. I've never seen anything like this. So let's look at his chart. So Johnny Depp is, believe this or not, you guys are going to be shocked when I tell you this. Johnny Depp is a Gemini. He was born June 9th in 1963 in Owensboro, Kentucky. He's a Gemini sun on the planet, which is his rising planet. It's who we see. He's a Leo rising, just like Howie. Howie is a Leo rising. He's also got a Capricorn moon. So he's got very good planets for birth planets. Then when you look at his natal chart, we look at star power. And the sun will show up in the 10th or 11th house, usually the 10th house. Of course, his sun shows up in the 10th house. Guess who else is a Gemini with a Leo rising? Now, and I know I don't want to hear it, but you're going to see the comparisons here. Guess who has that? Trump. Donald Trump. Gemini with Leo rising in the 10th house. It's star power. So
Wow.
now his moon in Capricorn, for our Capricorns out there, they keep him relatively balanced. What's really interesting at what's happening to Johnny right now is when you're 30, everybody, we all go through this. When we're 30, you go through what's called a Saturn return. Saturn is your karma, okay? So wherever that Saturn shows up in your natal chart, it's going to hit you at 30. And it's like, okay, it's time for life lessons. Here comes your karma. And at around 28, 29, 30, you start to go through that return. You get it again at 60. So if you don't learn by the time you're 60, you're going to be face planted like he has been. And his Saturn, look on your charts, goes into his 7th house. 7th house is of marriages, partnerships, relationships, legal issues. He's in his Saturn return. So I have never seen somebody hit a Saturn return like he has and just knocked down the karma. It's phenomenal to look at his chart. Another thing that we're going to look at is his Mars. Is he violent? Is Johnny Depp, does he have violent tendencies? His Mars placement, no, not at all. He does not. His Mars, no, it's not there.
Where would that be, Joni?
Sun, do what?
Where would that be on the chart?
Okay, let's look at our chart. I'm going to make it a little bit larger. I'm going to blow it up a little bit. Okay, so see, there is his sun up in Gemini. See the 11th and look at the 10th. Now we've got his Mercury, which is his communication, and his Venus, which we all know what Venus is. Venus is love, and how we love in his 10th house together. That gives him his charisma, his charm, and it's right up there with the sun in the 11th house. Okay? So we're going to go around and we're going to see Mars. His Mars placement is in Virgo. Virgo is an earth sign. Let's say he had Mars in Aries. That will give him the huge, that can give him a temper, that can give him the impulsive nature. So he does not. It goes inside of him with the Mars in Virgo. So he internalizes. So how does that play out? Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, he internalizes. He gets sick. He gets a stomach ache. Virgo is health. So that's what happens to him. He internalizes the anger. So now this is his natal chart, okay? So his Mars, let's see, what else do we have? His seduction. If you look up at his chart, up at his midheaven, which is the top of his chart, okay? Do you see that? That's what the public sees. So we've got Venus in Taurus. Well, that's beauty. That's, and you know, they both have Venus in Taurus, which meant they were attracted by their beauty. He was attracted by her beauty. She was attracted by a lot of his wit. He's very witty as well. But again,
And
Mercury
his
in Taurus.
success, right, Joni?
Do what?
Would it also be his success as well?
Up at his midheaven is what we see as his career. Part of fortune would go more to where he would be successful, but that sun up in the 10th and 11th up there, that is star power. It's star power. Trump has it too. And you know, the thing about Taurus is very methodical, very slow, very steady. That's how he talks. He talks, when he was on the stand, he talked very slow, very methodical, very steady. You don't hear his voice going up and down or impulsive. He thinks about everything before he says it. That's a Mercury in Taurus. Because Taurus is like that. So he has, and I'm not going to get into the technicalities of it because it gets a little confusing. But in his chart, he's got, in his natal chart, he's got what are called T-squares. And they're pretty tough to deal with. However, he got pretty lucky with these. And they're in earth signs. Again, earth signs tend to internalize more than the fire signs, which are your Leos and your Aries and your Sagittarius. They are more external and they will show it. And that's where you can see things that can turn, you know, Mars and fire signs can turn pretty ugly kind of quick. They can, depending on how they're aspect. Now we've got in every natal chart, and y'all can look this stuff up, it's called a part of fortune. Now, this is where you're supposed to be lucky with a part of fortune. His is in Pisces. So for him to gain fulfillment, he must not identify with emotions, but he has to be more in the conscious level. He has to learn to vibe higher and be in a higher level of consciousness and to direct some of his thoughts that they need to flow more. Tune into his higher self, avoid manipulations. Because at a lower level, Pisces, you can get a manipulator. So with him, it's vibing much higher. So what's going on with Johnny right now? He's in his Saturn return. In February 23rd, he's going to go for a Jupiter return and get abundance, blessings. So he's going to come out of this by February 2023. We are going to see him with roles. He's going to come out of this fine. He's going to come out of this fine. Now, also when we look at a chart, and on Depp's chart, we'll look at hers too. So that's his. Do you have any questions on his, Chris?
No. Is it possible to make the chart just a little bit bigger? By any chance?
Sure. I'll tell you another thing. One thing about Johnny, and for those of you, the fourth house is your roots and how you're grown up and your home. Black Moon Lilith in Scorpio sits right in his fourth house. So that's issues with a mother, and not a very nice mother, because Black Moon Lilith is not, she's a warrior. She's not nice. So there are the issues with mama, with Johnny. Okay.
And yet he's got that Cancer, where he's in the Cancer in the North Node.
Yes.
And then,
And
so he's got that loving aspect about him, wanting to love and
yes.
be gentle and kind and care about others. With the Virgo aspect that he's got, but that keeps him detail oriented and
Yes.
and a good work ethic. And
I mean, yes, absolutely. But now with him, with his North Node, it's in Cancer. North Node, so you've heard of a soul contract. What is your soul contract? It's what you come down here in an incarnation to fulfill. It's called a soul contract. So his North Node, his soul contract is in Cancer. What did he come here to learn how to do? He learned to show his emotions, learn how to cry, learn how to play, and learn how to laugh. Now, when we look at his South Node, what he falls into easily and what he did in past lives is he needs to create his own sense of security. He needs to go where it's warm, nurturing, where he can express himself, not bury his emotions. He has to, and this causes self-defeating behavior patterns. Of course, fourth house, that's where the drug issues are, next to Black Moon Lilith. So he has to release and not feel like everything is his responsibility, and come out of that with his nurturing, show his emotions, learn. And what's he done at the trial? Complete North Node, everything. I mean, Saturn hit that second return and knocked him down, and he's done nothing but fight, and he's fought for his soul as well. So you watch what happens to him with his Jupiter return in February of 2023. He's going to come out of this making more than he's ever made before. But he's also going to be happy too, because he's learned with relationships. I mean, he apparently has picked, I don't know too much about his past women. He's apparently picked the wrong women. Do you all know anything about his past love lives? Because he's apparently picking the wrong women.
I mean,
he made a comment that the one woman that was his saving grace was Winona Ryder.
Well, wasn't that how many years ago? Wasn't he just a kid?
Years ago.
He was a kid. He should have married Winona.
And they remained friends, and she's always had his back. He's always had hers. They've gone through, turmoil and trouble, but they've been like, very tight with each other, and very supportive of each other.
He should have stuck with her.
That they've had each other in their, each other's corner, to have somebody there who would have their back.
Winona is technically married to Keanu Reeves, I think.
We need to look at
his
his
movie set, and they say they really got married. But they've been joking about it back and forth. So it's kind of like this little joke between Keanu and Winona. She calls him husband, and he just laughs.
Who wouldn't marry him?
Right?
He's oh,
And yet he had a crush on Sandra Bullock, and Sandra Bullock had a crush on him, and they never even knew it.
yeah,
Isn't that crazy?
crazy. Well,
Yeah,
now
but, I
we're
mean,
going
Johnny
to
Depp was married for 14 years to the French lady that has his children.
Well,
And I think the only reason they parted was because of Amber.
really?
That's what it's looking like.
Ugh, more gossip. Well, there she is. Miss Amber Heard is a Taurus, Aries, Libra. Now, we don't know her time of birth, so it was pretty well guessed. But if you look at her aspects and what her chart shows, noon is about where she was born at the time. So Amber Heard is a Taurus sun. She's at the 29th degree of Taurus. And whenever a natal chart is at the 29th degree, that is a soul contract. You look at the degrees and it's saying, this is what you're coming down here to do. This is what we're picking you to do. And it's at Venus at its highest beauty. Her ruling planet is Venus, and she is stunningly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. So we know she uses that. And however, Miss Amber was born, and remember we talked about Mercury and Mars. Mercury is how she communicates. She's Aries. So what happens is she would run her mouth, and God love her heart, before thinking Mars, she's impulsive. It's how she communicates, and it's very, very strong with him. So Amber has got a lot of issues in her chart with Mars Neptune. Now, when we see that, guess what that is? That's a liar, liar, pants on fire, and she's a high exaggerator. So when Miss Amber does have violent tendencies in her, unfortunately, in her natal chart. She's got a lot of soul work to accomplish. Now, when we look at them, let's look at them together. And this is where astrology is pretty cool with SYNASTRY and putting the two of them together. So, for example, on this little chart that I just put up, if you're an Aries man and an Aries woman, the relationship is going to be fiery. A Taurus woman, Aries man, very exotic. Gemini woman, Aries man. Female goes up at the top. So Cancer, what do you want me to look up for you? Aries, many differences. A Taurus with a Cancer, caring and sharing. Cancer and Gemini, steer clear. Loving, you, a Cancer and a Leo, loving. Problematic, Virgo, Cancer. Imagine that. So let's look at those two together. Both of them.
Paradise. These are the Scorpio, Paradise.
Yeah, both water signs. But so Facebook
Great match with Capricorn.
Chat room says that he was married to Winona. Was he married to Winona?
I don't know. I thought they were just dating.
I thought they just dated. I think they just dated. I don't think they ever got married.
Okay. So let's look at their SYNASTRY. So SYNASTRY is when you put both of the. Now, this is interesting too about a quote that Johnny Depp has said. I'm obsessed with the truth. So today is my first opportunity that I've been able to speak about this case in full. for the first time, I felt a responsibility of clearing the record. Johnny Depp. You know, his net worth is 150 million. Johnny Depp didn't need to step forward. He had to tell his truth. And I admire that. So when we look at their SYNASTRY chart, both of them,
He earned that.
he did. Both of them have Venus, how they love in Taurus. They love nice things. Money is very, very important. Very, very important. They love nice things, beautiful. And money is a big issue with them. Okay? So in the beginning,
Does that go for both of them?
yeah, both of them have Venus and Taurus. When things were good, they were not good, they were great. When things were bad, they were very, very south. So here are some of the transits, and I'm not going to tell you it's a square or it's an opposition because it's a little difficult. It can be a little confusing. The two of them in their SYNASTRY had complete ideas in ideology. They're a complete mismatch. And due to the differences in their beliefs and value, they have very, very big differences. The common barrier was the way of her communicating triggered his emotional state. His ideas were never expressed, and it would come right off her tongue. Another difficult aspect, he found her insensitive and felt he carried the entire burden of the relationship and actually was very relieved when it ended. There's no going back for him. He will never go back to her, ever. It was like, I'm gone, I'm done, and that's it. There are also some other karmic aspects to their SYNASTRY charts.
Yeah.
And these two were drawn together for a reason. A lot of karma. You've heard the expression of twins, soulmates. Soulmates are brought together
Yeah,
to
that's
fulfill.
fine.
Right, soulmates are brought together to fulfill karmic obligations. When that karmic obligation is fulfilled, what happens? A lot of soulmates are not romantic. They're good friends. Soulmates do not make the best relationships. Actually, they make the worst relationships. So if somebody says you're my soulmate and they think that they're good friends, it's not a good relationship, at least from an astrological standpoint. It really is not. It's not at all. One of the most difficult things that they have is like I said, he found her insensitive. Her tongue is very sharp. And the karmic aspect is her standards would conflict with his. He impressed with the mind, but her demands put too much of a burden and were so unreasonable on him, it just fell flat. Apparently her demands were pretty high. Her impulses would go completely against his beliefs and his philosophy. He's actually very, very spiritual, according to his chart. He's a very spiritual man.
She seems very manipulative.
Extremely manipulative with the Neptune Mars. And it's excessive. With this, there's an excessive nature to it that you don't know that you are exaggerating or you are a liar, pants on fire. And that's exactly what it is. And that is something that if she would chip away at her karma, she would chip that down.
So Jody, are you saying she didn't know she was like that?
Do I think she knows? No, I do not.
Huh.
No. And she's one of those people that exaggerates to the point and they lie to the point that they believe their own lies. She was born that way. She has always done this. And what she has used is her power of manipulation with her beauty with this Venus and Taurus to get away with it. So I think there are issues that she really would need to work on. And one of them, what happens is when you have an Aries North Node like she has, North Node is what you came in here to accomplish. Your South Node is what you did in past lives. Therefore, it comes easy to you. Her North Node is in Aries. So in other words, she came down here, A, to mature as a soul, B, to be herself. She basically, with the Libra and a South Node, her comfort zone is when she's with a group of people, she will basically morph into, like us, a bunch of ghost hunters or psychics or clairvoyants. She would become a clairvoyant. So she's never found her identity with that Aries North Node. And your Aries North Node is one that you stand up for yourself, you become your own person, you actually love that person. And she was very dependent on him, and he was very wanting to save her. And a lot of these issues go back to childhood, because with the son is the father. So what shows up in her natal chart is the abuse was with the father, and it was bad abuse. So he wanted to come in and save that.
And then that loving aspect with him, with that Cancer in the North Node, he wants to love and nurture and protect and care.
He needs to learn how to love and nurture and let it out and not hold it in so much. Here's another thing that they have.
And with the right person.
So we say they're soulmates. Their experiences together could have been a really good growing karmic experience. But he saw himself as the parent. His role was to try to help her to reach her conscious maturity. He wanted her to accept more responsibility. And when that didn't happen, it just caused a lot of frustration, blockages. A lot of blame game going on between these two. Because you have one with one aspect, one with another one, and it was blame. A lot of blame games going on. Also power struggles that were very karmic as well. And and she also has the Black Lilith in her chart as well. So that's their synastry. That wasn't, the only really good synastry that they have as their Venus and Taurus. When they first met, like I said, when they met, it was excellent and it was good. When you do an astrology chart and you do look at what your soul and what you came down to learn how to do, and you're part of fortune, hers is in Capricorn, which is all about soul maturity. She will gain success later on in life as her soul matures if she works on the issues and the karmic issues that she needs to. If she does not, she also has to eliminate, like Johnny, all childhood insecurities, because she is Capricorn Cancer. In order to develop a perspective, she has to release those things as well. And that's her part of fortune. And when it does not, her emotions will backfire. And when her emotions backfire, she's out of control. She gets that emotional. And the behavior will change. If she were to start to work on these things and be accountable and say, you know what? I have issues. I made these things up. This thing snowballed. That's part of the accountability that she can work on that karma. But without that, I, I don't know. She's very impulsive as well with her actions. So, do you have any other questions on those? Because I feel like I've been rambling forever with them.
Would she be the type of person who her anger would get the best of her, that she would act it out
Yes.
rather than just the sharp tongue? She would follow through with harsh actions too.
Yes. Her tongue, her Mercury is in, she's got a lot of firepower. She's got a lot of fire. And what happens is her Mars energy goes up against her emotional energy, so she cannot control it. So I think a lot of those, we've seen pictures of the house and the damage. She did that. He didn't do a lot of that. That would be the Mars square moon, is when no, she's the one that was breaking the glass. There's no doubt about it.
Then don't even talk about the background, what she did in the bed.
that was just in bad taste. That was just in poor taste. She's just gross.
OMG.
So
did you hear about that, Chris?
Yeah, that's a low rent move.
Well, that's why we've got, and nobody should actually, what triggered this with her. Now we look, who's going to win this trial? Who do you
blame it on a little dog? And like, are you kidding me?
Well, and now in court, all you can hear is hashtag Amber T. I don't think you can say that on YouTube anymore, right? You get taken down if you say the T word.
What?
Amber T. The hashtag.
That rhymes with her last name, but.
That's the hashtag. So if you were to look at who is going to win this trial, he's already won because of how he has kicked down the door to karma. He's not only kicked it down, he has busted through the door. You're going to see a different man transform out of this at what the release, and it's interesting to watch until she gets a hold of herself and works on what she has to work on, which includes accountability and actually probably some good counseling. He's already won. Who do you think's going to win, Christy?
He's got a lot to work on.
Oh, I hope he's going to win.
I think he's going to win. My bet is on him with the transits that he's going through and what's coming up for him. She's in, we talked about a Jupiter return is when you get blessings and luck. But if you're vibrating on a lower level, Jupiter enhances that. So all of the things that she did and tried to hide are just exploding in front of her because it's happening in a Jupiter return and it's bigger. So we see it more.
Yeah, is she on the left or the right?
My assessment for these two. Okay, there we go. There he is with his Gemini. Okay. So there he is right there. Or my bad. Let's look for him. This might be her. Okay. This is her. This is Amber Heard right here. Okay. The yellow, that's her birth chart. And the blue, do you see the blue?
Mm-hmm.
See the blue planets? Let me see. The blue planets are what is going on. That's Amber. Amber is the yellow. Johnny is the blue. So that's a SYNASTRY chart. So that's what's happening with them now. And today and this is just another good example today for a trial update today, is there was an unexpected witness that showed up while they are in the rebuttal phase of the trial. It goes to the jury on Friday, so we should know something soon. But a witness, Amber Heard, on the stand testified that, you know, he had trashed a trailer, he had was violent, trashed a place. The manager and the owner of the trailer that they had rented out came and said, no, a light was damaged. So today was a good example in the middle of an eclipse, in the middle of a Pluto return going on here. It's not good to lie because it just bounced back. Today was extremely karmic for her. It was a huge day for him. It was a win for him. His legal team is almost out of time. And when they're out of time, they're out of time. So they have played the clock pretty poorly. So that's the trial update from today.
Especially with the, is this your signature? Yes. Is this your signature on this paper? Yes. Is this the paper that you signed for the third time? Yes. I mean, you got it 6 different times, and it's the same piece of paper with the same signature. It's like, are you kidding me?
Well, Johnny Depp has got that quick. He's just very witty. He's got a lot of Uranus, and they're quirky, and you know, but he's very methodical, and he's very thoughtful at what he talks and says and talks about. So I think he's really going to come out of this. I'm proud of him. I'm proud of him for standing up, as men should do. And then once again, when we look at astrology for violence, you want to look at Mars, Uranus, Pluto in there. Those can show it. There are different things that you can find in your transits and your aspects and on your natal chart to find where Mars goes into play. If you have a bad placement at Mars and you know it and you can work with it, then you've won half the battle, and that's very karmic and very good to know. And she's stunningly beautiful with her Venus in Taurus. She's stunningly beautiful, and that's what captured him. So that's our presentation for tonight with their astrology. Thank you all so much for tuning in. And Christy,
yeah, I mean, it was been sad seeing them get out of the limo, and people were yelling, you know, Johnny, 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 and the scowl on her face was just like her. I mean, if she stayed that way, her face would have gotten stuck. And
poor thing.
Very discreetly waving, but once they started hollering her name, then it's, oh, yay, look at me, I'm carved out of cream cheese. Look at me, I'm smiling and beaming from ear to ear. I'm just, the cat's meow. Pay attention to me. Look at me.
I feel sorry for her now.
It's like,
I want her to really pull out of this. You know, her soul contract is very Phoenix Bird, where she can pull out of this. She really can pull out of this. I think he tried his hardest. I really want her to pull out of this. You know, I looked at her chart now. I'm like, I feel sorry for her. There was a lot of abuse with these girls, and you know, abuse is tough. It's very tough.
her heart.
Yeah, she did.
That is such a, yeah. I know exactly what that means.
And the drug addiction stems from a lot of the abuse with the both of them. And I'm glad he got help and detoxed, and I'm glad he's on the road. And I wish the same for her, because I felt differently when I looked at her natal chart, because a lot of these things and the soul contracts, if you know, when you're a low level Taurus, it's very materialistic, and that's the only thing that matters is money, materialistic things, and beauty. And I think that kind of sums her up. She's not nice to people. She has no Venus aspects in her chart, meaning she doesn't give love. She doesn't know how to love. So when she learns to love herself, when she does learn to love herself, maybe love will come back to her. And that's where she can really heal. Man.
When you say that, Jim, she's stubbornness.
Well, exactly. Low-level Taurus. They're very stubborn, and what they say is it. They hate change, and this is the way it is, and it's not going to be any other way. And, there are a lot of karmic lessons that perhaps they should have learned together, and now it's in front of the world because we're all glued. This is the OJ trial. Everybody is following this trial. I don't know.
I mean, she's definitely earning an Academy Award in this court case.
I think her acting has improved. Quite honestly, since Aquaman, I think her acting has improved a lot.
Can she act? I've never seen her in a movie.
Yeah.
Is she a good actress?
She's getting better now.
I mean,
but at least she's gorgeous, right?
She's lovely.
I can't bear this.
She's darling, but
listening on Blog Talk, I'm making a whole lot of facial expressions.
well, thank you guys for listening to our episode.
Scarlett O'Hara, no.
And Sherry Lynn, tell everybody where you will be Saturday and what the plans for the Saturday night show will be.
Saturday, we will be out at Belle Grove for the Sage Paracon. And I will be exiting for a brief time because I have a granddaughter that is turning 5. And I do not go to her birthday party. Grammy is going to be on a very bad naughty list, and I'm not going to get on that list for the 5-year-old.
No.
But then I will be doing some lives from there, and then you and I'll do a recap, and we will just, how you and I are. We can ramble on about all kinds of stuff. So I'll share what, the fun out at Belle Grove, and then Belle Grove will be continuing on Sunday too. So it'll give everybody a little
sneak peek,
sampling of what the fun is on Saturday and to come out on Sunday.
So we will be and it's the Rift Radio Network Facebook page, and tune in Saturday at 8 p.m. so Sherry Lynn can recap the Saturday at Belle Grove and whatever else. And that'll be the Saturday show. And Christy, so what else? What do you have planned to do on Saturday at Belle Grove?
Well, we're going to be going around and talking to some of the speakers, the authors, some of the guests that are there. We have a couple of giveaways from our from the authors from On the Rift. We've got
that reminds me, Pamela Kenny,
Oh,
who was my guest last night. She is going to be personally autographing a book for one of a raffle winner at our booth.
and Sherry, did you get the books?
Someone will get a copy of her book. She'll be out there as well.
Did you get Jeff and Shelley's books as well?
Yeah, I got Jeff and Shelley's books, and I've got Joni's book for display.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
Yes. So we will be represented with the different books. So, and then
Yeah, for
next
sure.
Tuesday,
Yeah, for sure.
please tune in for another case. And I think this is exciting. And there was a little girl that went missing on her spring break 13 years ago. And her remains were just found. Her name is Brittany Drexel. And Mr. Raymond Moody has been charged with the murder, kidnapping, and criminal sexual conduct in the first degree of her death. Brittany Drexel was kidnapped on spring break 13 years ago. So next week, we know that she was found. We know where she was found. Would we have found her? So we're going to review Brittany's case, get some paranormal information, look at the astrology event chart, get some clues without looking into the case first. What would we have done as a team? Would we have been able to help find Brittany? So I think that'll be an exciting show next week. Go over what happened to Brittany, where she was found, what we would have found before we look it up, to let you all know how well we did. So that's planned for next Tuesday. How exciting will that be?
Absolutely. Sounds good. And there will not be a
90 seconds.
show on Monday, Memorial Day.
Right. So
enjoy Memorial Day.
Have a
and
great
remember
one.
why we have that day.
Yeah, have a wonderful Memorial Day, safe, and everybody, thank you for tuning in for our Depp v. Heard. Enjoy watching the rest of the trial, listening, streaming. Have a super Memorial Day weekend, and we will see you guys Tuesday.
Radio podcast presentation. Catch all the shows you love. Sunday, the Orion Day. Monday, on a Tales from the Dolphin Chair. Tuesday, True Crimes, Mysteries Behind the Veil. And on Wednesdays at this time, evenings with Dr. Manfred, with Saturdays set aside for some shows. Weekend.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Night.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio. Goodbye.